On today's show, the LA Clippers have won 6 out of their last 7 games, but are they ready for the juggernaut that is this season's Cleveland Cavaliers? They'll see them tonight at the Intuit Dome. What will the keys to the game be? Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 20 years, been covering the team for 5 years on my own personal YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and 3 years right here on the Locked On Podcast Network for your Locked On, your Los Angeles Clippers. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get daily fantasy sports action. Just download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And the Locked On Clippers podcast now has a daily newsletter written by yours truly. You can find it at lockedondaily.com. Now, for this one, it's Clippers Cavs tonight at the Intuit Dome. I will not be in attendance, sadly, because I'm preparing my all-star girls team for our debut tomorrow representing the Palisades. It's going to be emotional as can be for me. I got girls and boys tomorrow at Cheviot Hills. It will be exciting, so I cannot be at the game tonight, but we will be tested. And I want to talk about 3 aspects that interest me the most about this matchup. First, it's how our great point of attack and elite defense that has found us now second in the NBA right now at 68 games into the season will handle the number 1 offense in the NBA this season in the Cleveland Cavaliers. I also want to take a look at how they're going to guard us because they have interesting personnel, and then can we handle their size? So let's talk about the first thing, point of attack. When you play against a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have 2 of the most dynamic pick and roll threats in the NBA, in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, your point of attack defense has to be sharp. And the Cavaliers, holy smokes, before the last game against the Magic, they won, 16 games in a row. 16 games in a row. 56-11 on the season. This Cavs season and this regular season is shaping up to be unlike any other. I think the franchise record was 61 wins in 2009 for the Cavs, I believe. Let's double check that. 66, my goodness. What was I thinking? That's crazy. The 09 Cavs were a 66-win team. But anyway, so 66 wins that season. We'll see if the Cavs get that. But they're going to be close. They're going to be close. And Donovan Mitchell's averaging 24 points a game. Darius Garland is averaging 21 points a game. Donovan averaging 5 assists. Darius Garland averaging 7 assists. But they are serious. Now, as far as how we're going to start tonight, I think it's going to be James Harden, Norman Powell. I've heard that Chris Dunn will be back, and I think he will get the nod tonight against the team with 2 guards like that. I think Chris Dunn is a perfect guy to start on Donovan Mitchell. Let's see, because we haven't played the Cavs this season. And Donovan Mitchell, the Clippers have history with him. Of course, we played him in the playoffs in 2021. I know Donovan remembers that all too fondly. He played amazing the first 2 games, had a little injury, dipped in production the last 4 games, but we handled him pretty well. Now, we have not played him with Chris Dunn yet, so it'll be an interesting test for Chris Dunn, seeing how he does against one of the NBA's elite players and elite guards in Donovan Mitchell. Now, who will be taking Darius Garland? If we're starting with James, Norm, Kawhi, and Zoo, like the big 4 plus Chris Dunn, that's an interesting conversation. I would have, let's see what the Cavaliers starting lineup was in the last game that they played against the Orlando Magic. It was Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, DeAndre Hunter, Max Strus, and Darius Garland. Is Evan Mobley going to play in this game? Let me double check that. It says he's questionable. He's playing. He's going to play. He's a Southern California kid. He's going to have family there. He's going to play. So let's just say Evan Mobley does play. I would have Norman Powell. See, that's going to be a kind of a problem, honestly. I can't lie to you, because we're going to have Kawhi starting on Evan Mobley. Oh, you know what we should do? James Harden on Evan Mobley. I know that's a huge mismatch height-wise, but he's a good post defender, and James Harden's really strong. So I think we honestly throw James on Evan Mobley, Zoo on Jared Allen, of course, because we're going to need him to rebound against him. And then I'd say Norm on DeAndre Hunter and put Kawhi on Garland. That's going to be taxing for Kawhi. But look, that's why Zoo and Harden and Norman Powell are here. Maybe we don't need as much from Kawhi these days, and we actually need more defensively. But see, we had a defensive team around him to not have him work as hard offensively. But this season our identity has not been built with Kawhi. So I don't know what to say. If that's the starting lineup, you're going to need Kawhi to guard one of the guards, I think, unless you want to go with James Harden guarding Darius Garland. But the way James Harden, as well as he played last game, defended last game and the game before that, I don't know. I don't feel very confident about that. So this is going to be a real test for our point of attack defense. Real test. And then off the bench, Ty Jerome, in my opinion, is the most improved player in basketball this year. I don't think Norman Powell is actually more improved as he's been given a larger opportunity. But this season, Ty Jerome, I remember Warriors fans saying he wasn't an NBA player. He averaged 2 points a game last year. He's averaging 12 points a game this year to go along with 3 rebounds and 3 assists on 50.5, 43.5, 88.5 splits. He's literally 1.5% away from being 50, 40, 90. That's part of the reason why they were okay trading Karis LeVert. I think they want a wing in DeAndre Hunter. They got that. So, I mean, this is going to be a great test for us. We're in good form, but how can we handle a team like this? 56-11, taking a leap this year that nobody expected. I remember seeing people say, why is Donovan Mitchell going to stay with Cleveland? Him and Darius Garland can't work together. 2 bigs is not going to work with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. They kind of need to move Evan Mobley to the 5 and trade Jared Allen. And it just goes to show you that patience is important with young teams. OKC, Cleveland, the 2 best teams in the league. You know, so many conversations I saw this summer about, OKC needs to be careful. They got to pay these guys. Cleveland needs to make sure, they got to trade Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland is not improving. He needs to go. Like, he was literally drafted in 2019. And we're ready to, and it's not like when you watch the Cleveland Cavaliers, you think that the only problem is defensively sometimes with Donovan and Darius Garland in the past. But when you watch them play last year, you didn't think oh man, there's too many cooks in the kitchen with the ball in their hands. You never thought that. It was Karis LeVert, it was Donovan Mitchell, it was Darius Garland. You have Evan Mobley as an interior threat, which he needed to develop become more of a guy that you can throw it down to and he's going to dominate if they switch. And he's starting to become much better at that, Evan Mobley. But this Cleveland Cavaliers team is very likable. They're very tough. It's obviously, as Clipper fans, we don't like the Utah Jazz. So Donovan Mitchell is like our enemy. But on the Cavs, we only have to see him twice a year. So, I think this is a likable team over there in Cleveland. It's my first time seeing the Cavs be good without LeBron because obviously I'm too young for the Mark Price, Craig Elo, Larry Nance, Brad Daugherty, Hot Rod Williams days. But this will be a fun one, I think. Unfortunately, I can't be there, but the key to the game for me is going to be, can our defense keep Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland from getting clear-cut advantages in pick and roll? I think that is going to be the way that we slow them down, because if we can limit them getting in the lane, getting advantages on those pick and rolls, then their threes won't be as open, the ball won't be zipping as much, and we'll make them play our game. Let's see how they handle the wall. But coming up, let's talk about how they're going to guard us. They have some defensive deficiencies, but at least they did in the past, but they are top 10 in defensive rating this year. Let's talk about what's changed or what they could do in this one against us. I got to tell you a little something about Hungry Root. When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have the time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, and then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommending meals and groceries based on my tastes and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein and gluten-free options. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/lockedonnba and use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LOCKEDONNBA and code LOCKEDONNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LOCKEDONNBA. Code LOCKEDONNBA. Don't miss out. I got to tell you a little something about Monarch Money. Here's the thing about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. All right, back talking about this one. Clippers, Cavs tonight at the Intuit Dome. This will be a true test of what we're made of, but also it's going to be a slight test for our offense, because the Cavaliers, they might not be the second highest defensive rating in the league like us, but they're seventh in the league in defensive rating. So they're no slouches by any means. They got depth, they got some big guards, they got some wings. So it's not going to be easy. Now, when we look at how they're going to guard us to start the game, see, the thing is, I haven't watched too many Cavs games this year, unfortunately, but what I think they're going to have is, if they're going with that starting lineup, probably DeAndre Hunter guarding James Harden. They're going to probably have Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland chasing Norm around, and then one of them guard Chris Dunn. Probably Donovan Mitchell on Norm and then Darius Garland on Chris Dunn. Don't think that really matters, though. And I think they're going to put Evan Mobley on Kawhi to try to, get size and length to deter him, because Evan Mobley is one of the best defenders in the NBA, and Kawhi, he can't use his strength on Evan, and speed-wise, I think Evan will still be fine with his length and size. So I think it's not going to be easy. As far as Zoo, this is a great challenge for him, because Jared Allen's one of the better centers in the league, in my opinion, as well. But is he better than Zoo? I don't think so. But he played really well in the playoffs last year against Orlando and was looking pretty good against Boston. I'm pretty sure he got hurt then. But it's a great challenge between another center that's having a really good season. This year, Jared Allen is averaging 14 points and 10 rebounds a game. So he's playing really well. So I'm interested to see what kind of scheme they're going to throw at us. Are they going to hedge on screens with Harden to get the ball out of his hands? And because they have Evan Mobley on the backside, be ready for him there? You know what I'm saying? Be ready with their anticipation. Are they going to blitz Harden on screens and still same thing, backside rotations? Or are they going to play drop coverage with Jared Allen because he's a good rim protector, and hope DeAndre Hunter can stay in front of the point of attack? As far as where we want to exploit them, I would like to see if they're switching Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell onto James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, because if they are, that is where we can attack them. If they're switching 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 in Kawhi's case, and we can get Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell guarding James Harden or Kawhi Leonard, that is probably our best use of exploiting their defense. So that's how I think they're going to guard us in terms of starting the game. I think Evan Mobley on Kawhi Leonard to try to deter us a little bit and try to just put size on Kawhi, and then DeAndre Hunter on Harden will put some size on Harden and make things a little bit harder for him. So that's what we're looking at. Now, can we handle the size of the Cleveland Cavaliers? And how big of a problem is the lack of a power forward against a team like this? Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Prize Picks. Here's the thing about Prize Picks. Basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix and match projections across different sports. This week, I'm selecting James Harden for more than 20 points on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
All right. So talking about how the Clippers can handle the size of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are one of the rare teams in today's NBA that play with 2 bigs in their starting lineup, with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. And one thing about Evan Mobley is that his range has expanded a bit this year. 37% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. In previous years, he had never shot over 1.3 threes a game. So he's gotten that volume up, and his percentage is still the same as last year, essentially just 0.4% lower. And you're seeing a career high in points from him this year with 19 a game. So here's the thing about that. If we have Kawhi Leonard on Evan Mobley to start, I don't see Evan Mobley or James Harden. It'll be interesting to see if Evan Mobley can exploit James Harden, even though James is such a solid post defender and he's got great lower body strength. Will he be able to deter someone like Evan Mobley, who's 6'11"? Now, in terms of Kawhi, I think he'll be fine against someone like Evan Mobley, but that'll be something to see. Are we going to struggle on the glass? You know what I'm saying? That was one of the biggest concerns for the Clippers coming into this season, is that we still didn't really address our power forward problem. You know, we still have Kawhi or Nico Batum kind of in those spots, and they're not really big enough. You know, sometimes even Derrick Jones Jr. is our second biggest guy out there, or playing that kind of 4, so to speak. It is positionless basketball, so it's a little different, but I'm interested to see if they're going to be able to exploit that. Is their size going to be overwhelming for us? Something to really watch. In terms of Ty Lue, I think he's going to probably try to play some small ball. Not just the like Ben Simmons coming off the bench small ball, but I think he's going to try to play small ball and 5 out kind of, or 4 out, 1 in, with Zoo being that 1 in, and try to see if with the Cavs double big lineup, they're going to struggle with our, spacing. That'll be something to see, but it'll be a good test for us, a really good test for us. Evan Mobley's having a career year. Basically, all these Cavalier players are kind of having a career year, because how can you not be when you're playing this good at basketball? I mean, Donovan Mitchell, stat-wise, is not having a career year, but there's no bigger chance he's ever had to win a championship, and he's the guy still. So what a game we have tonight. As far as Norman Powell watch, I mean, this is going to be his second game back. So, he didn't look great in the first game, but this is his chance to keep getting back into form. We have 14 games left. After this, we're only going to have 7 home games left. So it's really a matter of locking this down. And when I say this, I mean our 4 star players, so to speak, Norm, Zoo, Kawhi, and Harden, getting them to mesh together, because, I mean, there haven't been that many games where all of them are playing together. And again, we're in hot form, but that's nothing compared to the Cavaliers' hot form. So a 26-6 away record for the Cavs, that's very impressive. So a very good test indeed. James Harden on this. I'm looking at the stat-by-stat comparison. Donovan Mitchell is their leading scorer with 24 points a game on the season. Norman Powell for us is 23.4 points per game on the season. There's the Zubats and Jarrett Allen matchup. You've got Jarrett Allen averaging 10.2 rebounds per game, and Ivica Zubats averaging 12.5 rebounds per game. Jarrett Allen is averaging 14 points a game. Ivica Zubats is averaging 16 and 16.2 points per game. So honestly, I think Zoo has actual post game. I don't think Jarrett Allen really has post game like that. I think Zubats is better than Jarrett Allen, honestly. But Jarrett Allen is a top 10 center for me. Now, Harden, he leads any Cavalier in assists. He averages 9 assists per game, but he also averages 4.5 turnovers. Darius Garland averages 7 assists and 2.5 turnovers. And one thing that's impressive about the Cavaliers is that their players don't play high minutes like that because they're so deep and they blow teams out a lot. So right now, when you look at their minute count, the highest minute getter is Donovan Mitchell at 31. Do you guys want to know how many minutes James Harden averages? And mind you, James Harden is several years older than Donovan Mitchell. He averages 35 minutes a game. So 4 more minutes per game. Norman Powell, 33. Ivica Zubac's 33. Kawhi is now up to 29.8, so he's getting there. But we just don't have the depth that the Cavs have. Of course, they had Karis LeVert early in the season. He's a good player, but now they brought in DeAndre Hunter. They're a tough customer. But again, this would be a great win if we could get it, a really great win. And it really comes down to how much success we're going to have offensively. Their offense is going to be tough for us to stop, but I think we can limit them just a bit because we are a great defense. It's more about, can we score on them, because they're a good defense too. So things to consider. As far as Kawhi Leonard, we've got 14 games left this season, and he'll be playing in this one. So it's a very big test against the NBA's elites to see how he does as he slowly tries to get back into form. I'm really curious because we only have 14 games left, and he's not going to play all of them. What's Kawhi Leonard going to look like going into the playoffs? Are we going to be like 25 points per game Kawhi is here? Because in the month of March, as I said last episode, he's averaging, in the last 10 games, he's averaging 24 points a game, but in the month of March, he's averaging 24 points per game. Now, the guy that I've kept saying is kind of the X factor for the Clippers is Bogdanovich, because it feels like every single time he plays well, we win, and every single time he doesn't play well, we lose. So it'll be interesting to see if that holds true in this game. But when you look at Bogey's game log, I want to see if I can find any patterns. But his shooting splits when we win versus when we lose is fairly drastic in every single game. Now, since Bogey became a Clipper, only one game has been won by the team when Bogey shoots under 44%. Only one game. Every other game we've won, he's shot 44% or higher from the field. So his shooting seems to dictate a lot for us, honestly, in terms of this post-deadline version of the Clippers. Someone else I'm interested to see is Ben Simmons. You know, he's got a lot of length and size. He looked pretty decent in the last game when he came off the bench and was pushing some pace for us, even though he didn't score. I am curious to see how his length and athleticism translates against a team like Cleveland. Somebody like Dean Wade, for example, I think is going to try to guard Kawhi a lot because he's big, he's got size, and he's not like super slow. So I think he'll be able to stay with him. But yeah, DeAndre Hunter and Dean Wade, that has made Isaac Okoro, from what I heard from Danny, the host of Locked On Kings, a little bit less needed. So excited for this one. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what you thought of the episode. And of course, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know every single time we post a video, and try to get us to 7,000 subscribers before the playoff starts. And the Locked On Clippers newsletter is at lockedondaily.com, written by yours truly. Make sure to sign up. It really helps your boy. Lockedondaily.com. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers. Hold it down for me at Intuit Dome, Clipper Nation.